Welcome to my channel, and welcome to the Botulism Express. And I'm talking about the American buffet restaurants. More people get sick at buffet restaurants than any other place, that any other eatery in this country. Let me tell you why. First of all, buffet restaurants is a breeding ground for bacteria. The vats of food that they have in there, sometimes they sit in there for a couple hours breeding bacteria. Usually the bacteria you find in these vats is in the center of the food, not the bottom or the top, but in the center of the food, in the middle portions of the food. I have a bad habit of doing this myself. I scrape off the top and get what's like in the middle or in the bottom. But it's not just the bacteria that hurts people. You know, you could eat buffet restaurants every day for the rest of your life and never get sick. But there are a lot of people that do get sick eating from buffet restaurants. From the simple fact is, a lot of buffet restaurants, Chinese restaurants, buffet restaurants, are the biggest culprits of this. They don't clean their vats out very well. People are allowed to stick their fingers and their hands in the food. I've seen over the years where Chinese people in their vats, they'd spill a vat like of egg rolls or whatnot, and they'll just put it back in the vat and put it back on the buffet as if nothing even happened. But that's not the problem. The problem is the customer. Believe it or not, but about 85% of the people that go in there and eat buffet restaurants are filthy. They don't wash their hands. They have feces on their hands. They have urine on their hands. You wouldn't believe what's on their hands. And they're sticking their hands in the food. I've seen guys walk up to a vat of corn in a tub of water, and he'd pick it up and touch his tongue to it. Oh, it's not hot enough, so I'll just put it back. That's disgusting. I think that's a problem. Now it's contaminated the whole entire vat of corn. People go in there with their fingers and they'll stick their fingers in the mashed potatoes to see how warm they are. Oh, I don't like that. Or they'll scoop up a piece and, you know, taste it with their finger, which I think is absolutely disgusting. Or they'll go to the rolls and start squeezing the rolls to see how soft they are. How soft is this? How soft is this? It's disgusting. It's the public is the problem. It's you guys. It's your fault. You know, the restaurants do what they can to comply with the health codes, you know, about their buffet restaurants. But what it boils down to, it's the consumer that goes in there, and they let their kids in there. And I'm making this video right now because I went to a buffet restaurant this morning. I had a breakfast buffet. I went in there. I usually go in there about 6 o'clock when they first open, and the food is fresh. Nobody's even there. I can eat my breakfast and I can go. That's it. But I showed up a little later, and I hadn't eaten in a buffet restaurant for a while where there was people actually there. What I found this morning was appalling. And this is within just an hour of time. I'm sitting right next to the buffet. We have some tables here, you know, and there's this guy that comes up to the buffet, and you know, he's got some big hands. He's a big guy, you know. He's reaching in there with the tongs. There's tongs laying on top of the bacon, so he reaches in, grabs the tongs up, grabs a piece of bacon, drops the bacon, grabs the tongs again, reaches down, but his knuckles are so big, he's touching all the food in, all the bacon. And anyway, he gets what he wants, and then he goes into the sausage and does the same thing, right? And then he realizes what he did, so he's licking his knuckles and everything else, going, wiping it on his pants and everything else. Goes back in again for the sausage, touching it again. Now, as he gets the sausage, he's standing there looking around at the buffet, and he's eating, and at the buffet goes around to the rolls, and they're like cinnamon rolls, I guess, and he squeezes two of them on the side, just squeezes them, and then he finally grabs one of them, puts it on his plate, picks it back up actually, and eats it. And then the crumbs are falling, and he's going like this on his shirt, which is going back into the food, into these vats. I found that appalling. I was disgusted, totally disgusted. Okay, he takes off. There's a kid that comes up. He's got a sweatshirt on, and with these long, baggy sleeves, he goes in there and reaches across the buffet for what he wants. His sleeve is touching all the food in the buffet, everything. And I noticed he kind of grazes the cinnamon rolls. Okay, they've already been touched by one guy. One idiot already touched one roll and didn't take it. Now you got this one kid with a sleeve going across it, and then but that's not it. The kid finally realizes he's got frosting on his sleeve, so he just grabs the sleeve and does that. And then he goes back across the buffet, and his sleeve is rubbing against all the food that's there. He goes into the fruit bar, and he's rubbing across it, and he's still got frosting from touching the rolls. And but anyway, a few minutes later, another lady comes up and grabs a roll, and it's actually one of the rolls that guy touched and that kid's sleeve touched. And she takes it and puts it on her plate. She's pretty decent about it. She's not going in there with her hands and her feet touching everything, you know what I mean? Just, that's how diseases spread in the buffet restaurants. I've seen people go in there and get food, and the kids will get food, and they'll drop the tongs on the floor or the spoon on the floor. They'll just pick it up and put it back in the food again. And you wonder why buffet restaurants are so dangerous to eat at. And people get so sick from eating at buffet restaurants more than any other eatery in this country. It's the consumer, it's them. People don't think, they don't pay attention, they're stupid. Before you go into a buffet, which everybody eats from, go wash your hands. Go in the bathroom and wash your hands thoroughly. That would help. Don't be touching your face and rubbing your nose, and then touching the tongs, because other people are going to go and they'll touch those same tongs. So what I do is I get a napkin and I use that to touch the tongs and the spoons, and I try to get to the bottom of the buffet where nobody's touched, and I sit close to the buffet and I try to watch it as closely as I can, because if somebody's sticking their damn fingers in the food, I don't want to eat part of that. Three culprits. Golden Corral, that's the worst. Old Country Buffet, which actually, if you've noticed, without reason, they've closed most of their restaurants because a lot of people have been getting sick from Old Country Buffet. That's why you're seeing them closing all their restaurants. It's ridiculous. But you still have the Chinese to worry about too. The meat that they put in their food, it's like, how do you know it's really pork or beef or whatever? I mean, if you go to China, They kill cats and dogs all the time, and they use that meat in their food. What's to say they're not doing the same thing here and putting cat meat or dog meat in their dim sum rolls or their wontons? They're mixing it with pork. How do we know that? You know, go on YouTube and check out what they're doing to animals in China. Chinese buffets, stay away from, trust me. They're one of the worst restaurants you could possibly go to. I wouldn't go to a Chinese buffet or a Chinese restaurant and eat their crappy food for anything in the world, unless, you know, I had the ingredients and I had to make it myself. Now, I've just introduced you into the world of buffet restaurants. Now you understand. Enough said, right? So now it's up to you, the consumer, to do your part and keep your frickin' hands out of the damn food. Watch what other people are doing. If you're the type of person that's okay, and you're not the type of person that sticks your hands in the buffet, you know, the vats of food, then you're all right. But you just gotta watch. You gotta watch very, very carefully, because you would be surprised what you see. You would be very, 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 very surprised. So heed that, sleep on it, and let me know what you think. Have a nice day.